For all the fathers out there, here's something to get you in the spirit for tomorrow. San Francisco bartender Miguel Salehi mixes things up.
Hey guys, Miguel Salehi here in San Francisco, and today I'm going to be showing you guys some really easy drinks to make for Father's Day. If your dad is anything like mine, he'll appreciate a drink that's a little more straight to the point, which is great. It's going to make for some really easy drink making. So the first drink we're going to make is actually going to be a Scotch and soda or a Scotch Highball. This is a classic drink for a reason. It's really easy to make, and a complex spirit like Scotch is really going to benefit from some dilution and some bubbles. It's really going to kind of liven up and awaken the spirit. So we're going to start here with just a highball glass with some ice in it. And then when you're picking your Scotch, typically this type of drink is going to call for like a blended whiskey. Dewar's has been in the game for a really, really long time. Something like Dewar's 15 is going to go great in this drink. It's a lighter style Scotch, but it has a lot of complexity to it. So again, with that soda water, it's really just going to make for a really great cocktail. So we're going to start here with 2 ounces of Dewar's 15. Okay, right in there. And then we're just going to finish that off with some soda water. Make sure the soda water is nice and bubbly. That's maybe a little bit too bubbly. Just going to give that a quick little stir just to get it all incorporated. And then I'm just going to finish it with a lemon twist to kind of brighten things up. So just express that oil, skin side out, drop it in, and you have a beautiful Scotch Highball. So good. All right, so next up, we're going to be making an old fashioned. Now, most people think about an old fashioned as being a whiskey cocktail only, but a lot of people also know it as like a template style cocktail, in that we can kind of switch out the spirit, we can switch out the sweetener, and even the bitters to kind of play around. So we're going to be making a rum old fashioned today. So first, I'm going to start off with my glass. I got a nice piece of ice in there. And we're going to be making a rum old fashioned with Santa Teresa 1796. This is a really, really beautiful Venezuelan rum. It's quite dry, but it has some like notes of orange peel, coffee, and you'll see how that's going to come out in the cocktail later. So I add 2 ounces here to our glass. All right. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of sweetness to this. So here I have just some maple syrup that I had, just in my fridge, but you can use simple syrup if you want. Rum is going to be inherently a little bit sweeter than whiskey, so you can kind of put a little bit less than you might think and kind of, fix it if it's not sweet enough. And then I'm going to go with some coffee bitters. This is going to go really well with this rum. Whenever I drink this rum, I get kind of like a dry coffee note. So I'm really just kind of playing off of what I'm tasting in this rum. Maybe like 4 or 5 dashes there. All right, so the drink's pretty much done. I'm just going to give it a little twirl here for some dilution and chill. Whenever you're making a drink like this, you want to get it to about like 75% of it being perfect. That way you can kind of enjoy it over time over the piece of ice. So that should be just about good right there. And then I'm just going to finish that with an orange twist. So again, I'm going to express those oils over the top, and then I'm just going to drop it into the drink. Nailed it. All right, so the last cocktail we're going to make is going to be a classic martini. There's a lot of ways to make martinis, but I prefer mine in a more kind of classic ratio with 2 parts of gin and 1 part of dry vermouth. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to grab my mixing glass. And you can just use really anything for this, but I happen to have a nice one here. And I'm going to start with 2 ounces of gin. It's important to choose a really good gin here because this is going to be the majority of your drink. So a gin like Bombay Sapphire, which has a lot of juniper to it, has a lot of citrus and kind of earthy tonalities to it, is going to go really well in a martini. And I've certainly had a lot of these this past year. So I'm going to go with 2 ounces here. And then we definitely need some vermouth for this martini. So I'm going to add 1 ounce of this Italian dry vermouth from Martini. If you like a stronger cocktail, you can certainly add a little more gin, a little less vermouth. It's whatever you like, but I tend to like that kind of 2-to-1 ratio. Easy to remember too. So now we just need to add some ice in here. You want to get a decent amount of ice in here. It's really important when you're making your martini to make sure it's really, really cold. And since we're going to be serving this drink without ice up in a glass, you want to get a decent amount of dilution going here. So let's get maybe about, 30 seconds or so of stirring. That's going to bring the alcohol level down. It's going to make it really enjoyable to drink. And again, it's going to be really, really crisp and cold. All right, that should be nice and cold. All right, so now I'm just gonna grab a really nice cocktail glass here. I have a fancy Nick and Nora, and I'm just gonna strain that right into the glass. That's perfect. And you can definitely do olives if you like with your martinis, but I always go for a lemon twist. I feel like it just gives really nice aromatics, makes it really crisp and bright. Goes along with the cocktail. I'm gonna espresso oils, and then I'm gonna drop it. And that's a beautiful classic gin martini. That's so good. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you guys enjoy your Father's Day, and cheers.